You stand in a room full of voices, loud, clashing, desperate for attention. They promise everything: loyalty, success, love, but their words crumble like ash in the wind. You've heard it all before, and you've learned to doubt. Not because you're cold, not because you're broken, but because you see. You see the masks they wear, the games they play. You, the Sigma male, carry a heavier truth. Trust is not given, it is forged. In a world that screams for your faith, you choose silence, and in that silence, you build something unshakable. This is your journey. This is how you carve trust in a world that's forgotten its meaning. You've always been different. Not louder, not flashier, but deeper. Your mind is a labyrinth, twisting through questions others never ask. Why do they follow the crowd? Why do they trade truth for applause? You've never fit their mold, and you've paid a price for it. The world calls you distant, cold, unreachable, but they don't see what burns inside. A fire that doesn't need their validation. Solitude is your forge. It's where you sharpen your edges, where you learn to trust yourself first. Because a man who cannot trust himself can never build trust with another. You've walked alone, not by choice, but by necessity. And in that quiet, you've found your strength. The world taught you early. Friends who swore loyalty vanished when the storms came. Leaders who preached integrity hid behind lies. Even love, at times, felt like a contract with fine print. You've tasted betrayal's bitter sting. Not once, not twice, but enough to make you wary. Yet, you didn't break. You didn't lash out. You turned inward. You studied the cracks in their promises. You learned their tells. The fleeting glance, the rehearsed smile, and you vowed to be different. Not because you're better, but because you know the cost. Trust, for you, is not a gift. It's a sacred pact. You don't chase applause. You don't bend to fit their frame. You speak your truth, even when it stings, not out of cruelty, but out of reverence for what's real. The world craves performers, men who play roles to win favor, but you'd rather stand alone than wear a mask. Authenticity is your currency. It's why your words carry weight. When you speak, people listen, not because you're loud, but because you're rare. A man who says what he means, who does what he says. In a skeptical world, your truth is a beacon, dim, perhaps, to those who chase flash, but blinding to those who seek substance. Words are cheap. The world drowns in them. But silence is power. You've learned this. You don't fill the void with noise. You let it breathe. Your silence isn't weakness. It's discipline, a choice to hold back until your words carry meaning. When you speak, it's not to impress, it's to reveal. And when you listen, you don't just hear, you understand. People trust you because you don't demand their trust. You earn it. One quiet, deliberate moment at a time. Your silence builds bridges where words would burn them down. You don't need a crowd. You don't crave their cheers, yet you connect deeply, powerfully. Not with everyone, you're not built for that, but with those who see you, the ones who feel your quiet strength. You draw them in, not with charm or flattery, but with presence. You're a paradox, a lone wolf who binds others, a man who walks alone, yet leaves no one behind. Trust, for you, is not a transaction. It's a bond forged in fire, tested by time, strengthened by truth. You don't collect followers. You create allies. trust begins within. You've learned this the hard way. The world pulls at you. It's noise, it's chaos, it's temptations, but you've built a fortress, not of walls, but of will. You master your desires, you tame your fears, you don't let anger rule you, nor do you let doubt consume you. Every choice, every step is deliberate. You know the cost of losing control, and you refuse to pay it. This discipline, this unrelenting grip on yourself, is why others trust you, because a man who masters himself can be trusted to master anything. The system wants you small. It wants you predictable, a cog in its machine. But you're no cog. You see its gears grinding, its promises hollow. You don't climb its ladders to nowhere. You don't trade your soul for their rewards. The world calls you stubborn, rebellious, but you're neither. You're free. You build trust by refusing to bend, by showing others they don't have to either. Your defiance is quiet, but it echoes. It says you can live on your terms and still be trusted. They don't get you. They never have. Your silence feels cold to them. Your intensity, threatening. Your independence, aloof. You've seen their eyes judging, assuming, dismissing. It stings, not because you need their approval, but because you know your worth, and they can't see it. You've carried this pain, this quiet wound, for years, but you don't let it define you. Instead, you turn it into fuel. You let it sharpen your focus. You let it deepen your resolve. The world may not understand you, but those who matter will, and their trust in you will be unshakable. You don't trust easily, not because you're cynical, but because you're wise. You've seen too much. You've felt the weight of broken promises. So you choose carefully. You watch, you listen, you test, not with games, but with time. You give trust only to those who prove they can carry it. And when you do, it's a bond forged in steel, unbreakable, unyielding. You don't scatter your loyalty. You plant it, root it, and let it grow. This is how you build trust in a world that's forgotten how. Strength isn't hiding your scars. It's showing them. Not to everyone. You're not reckless, but to those who've earned it. You know vulnerability isn't weakness, it's courage. It's the raw, unguarded truth of who you are. You've been hurt, you've failed, you've doubted, and you've risen. When you share that truth, it's not a confession, it's a bridge, a way to connect without losing yourself. The world fears vulnerability. You wield it, and in that act, you build trust deeper than any promise ever could. People lean on you. They always have. You're calm in their storm. Your clarity in their chaos. You're the one they turn to when the world falls apart. And you carry it. Not because it's easy, but because it's who you are. You don't buckle. You don't break. But it's heavy. The weight of their trust. The weight of their expectations. Yet you bear it. Because you know trust is a burden worth carrying. It's a testament to your strength, to your silence, to your soul. Trust isn't built for its own sake. It's built for something greater. You have a fire inside you, a purpose, a vision. It's not loud. It doesn't need to be, but it burns. It drives you through the doubt, through the noise, through the loneliness. You build trust because you know where you're going. And you want others to follow, not blindly, but willingly. You don't lead with words. You lead with action, with integrity, with truth, and those who see it will walk beside you. The world is loud. It screams for your attention. It demands your allegiance, But you choose silence, not as retreat, but as rebellion. Your silence is your power. It's where you find clarity, where you forge trust. In a world that shouts, you whisper, and your whisper carries further than their noise ever could. You don't compete with the chaos, you rise above it. And in that rise, you show others what trust really means. You are not here to blend in. You are not here to follow. You are here to become, to carve your own path, to build trust in a world that's forgotten how. This journey, this quiet, relentless journey, is your transformation. From doubt to certainty, from pain to purpose, from solitude to sovereignty. You don't need their approval. You don't need their noise. You need only yourself, your truth, your strength, your silence. And in that, you awaken. You are the Sigma male, misunderstood, yet unbreakable, quiet, yet undeniable. The world may doubt you. It may overlook you. But you don't need its gaze. You build trust, not for fame, not for glory, but for something deeper, a covenant with yourself, a promise to live true, to stand tall, to be the man who others can lean on, who others can believe in a skeptical world. You are the anchor, the fire, the truth, and that is enough. You've walked this path alone, through shadows, through doubt, through the weight of a world that didn't understand. But now, you see, you are not alone because you're weak. You are alone because you're strong. Your trust, your silence, your truth, they are your legacy. They are the mark you leave on a world that needs you. So rise, Sigma, not for them, but for you. Because in your awakening, the world awakens too.